guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm really excited because today I'm actually going to talk about the books that I'm going to read, which are on my TBR list, which is to be read list. If you didn't already know that, these are just the books that I have in physical form. There are probably loads out there I'd like to read, but that's for another video. So this is going to be really exciting. I haven't really prepared anything special for this video. I just want to talk a little bit about the books. So the first book that is on my TBR list is Only the Good Spy Young by Ali Carter. So this is the fourth book in the Gallagher Girls series. And it's not the movie series, it's the book series with 6 books. It's about like a spy school. I read the first 3 books when I was in 7th grade or something, and I remember they were really good, and I remember that I didn't finish the series, so I'm planning to finish the series. I recently read the 3rd book, and it's really good. It's so easy and it's so light, but it's just so good at the same time. And then I am getting a little bit older, so I've bought a Stephen King book, and it's my first real scary book. I've read a lot of like teen scary books, and I decided to read The Shining. So I actually haven't seen the movie, but I thought that this would be a good way of going about it since I'm not a person who watches scary movies, but I think that this could be like a good transition for me, so I'm really excited to read this book. And then we have Sanctum. I don't actually know what this book is about, but it's part of the Asylum series. As you guys may remember, maybe I have a book review on the Asylum book. This book right here, which I really enjoyed. This one is by Madeleine Roux, and it's the same author for this one. It's called Sanctum. I think they're about 9 books with a short story in between all these books. There's a lot of books, but I decided to read the 2nd book. Then I had this book in my bookshelf for a really long time. It's The Lightning Thief. So yeah, I haven't read these books, and I know they're really good, and there's just one of those books that kind of like, you just kind of have to read them, and I'm going to read at some point. It's an easy read, so I should probably get going by reading this book sometime soon. And then we have The Unbecoming of Maya Dyer. This book is written by Michelle Hodkin. I actually discovered this book when we were doing a project in my design technology class when we were looking at book trailers online, and we're going to make our own stuff, and then this was an example book trailer, and I literally got sucked in. I just had to buy the book, and it's been on my bookshelf for forever, so I really need to be reading this book as soon. And then I'm currently reading this book, Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and I read it so carefully not to like get any lines at the neck of the book, and I spilled water over it, so now it's broken anyways. But I bought this recently, very recently actually, because I've been watching a lot of videos on BookTube, and I came across this book, Red Queen and Glass Sword, and I have heard a lot of great things about them, and I decided to read them, and this one is really good so far, so I'm really excited to get going on these books. I think it's going to be so good. I'm so excited. And then I just started this today. Actually, it's Another Day by David Levitin. So maybe you guys remember I did a book review on Every Day by David Levitin, and this is the sequel, as I thought. This is the first book, and this is a really good book. And if you haven't watched my book review on this one, you guys can watch it up here in the cards. And it's a really good book, and this one is the second one he has written, and it's actually surprisingly the same story. It's the exact same story, but from another character's point of view, Rhiannon's point of view, and it's going to be interesting. I think that it's probably cool to read this one before this one if you haven't actually read any of them. Just as far I've gotten, I think that would probably be a better way of doing it. And then we have The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I have had the Swedish copy of this one in my bookshelf for forever, and I still haven't gotten around to reading it. That's only because I don't want to read it in Swedish, and so I gave the Swedish copy to my mother, and then we're going to be doing a book club on this one together. So I'm going to wait for her so that we can read this book, and it's going to be so good because I've seen the movie and I absolutely love it. And I usually don't like read the book after I've seen the movie, but this one I just really wanted to read the book. Then we have The Collector. So recently I've gotten into reading classics, and I really love reading classics. And when I think about it, I read a lot of like classic books from school and also a little bit on my free time. So I thought that I'd just kind of kick it off and read more and more classics. So this one I'm reading The Collector by John Fowles. Is that how you say it? Fowles. This is going to be a tricky book, but I'm excited. Then we have Cinder. So I recently have gotten the knowledge that Winter, which is a book in this series, have come out and people are really excited for it, and this book is talked about a lot. So I saw it and now I'm buying the first book in the series, and I haven't even read the back, so I don't know what it's about, which is always a little bit exciting, I think. So I'm really excited to getting about this book as well. It's written by Marissa Mayer. Then we have another book by E. Lockhart, Lauren Miracle, and Sarah Lawnowski. Sorry if I pronounce these names wrong. And this one says How to Be Bad. So I read We Were Liars about maybe a year ago, and it's probably one of my favorite books of all time. Like, it's so incredibly good. And so I read one of her other books this year, which is called The Disreputable History of Frankie Londo Banks. And this book was also so good. And I have set a mission for myself that I'm going to read all E. Lockhart's books. And I'm probably going to do a video when I've read all of her books. That's going to be really interesting. And then we have Love Hurts. And this is just loads and loads of young adult writers who have put together loads of short stories. And the short stories are put together by Mallory Blackman. And there's just so many good young adult writers here. E. Lockhart, David Leviton, you know, just to mention a few. And so this one's thick, but I love short stories. And then we have two books that I just found in the bookstore because I was mesmerized by these covers. Like, come on, look at these covers. They are so cool. They're amazing. And they have like that matte texture that just like, oh, it feels so good. And they're, oh my god, I'm so excited. So I don't really know what the series is. This is like a The World Ends book kind of thing. And these are just horror stories. And they're two different authors. This one is E. Nesbitt and this one's John Christopher. And these are in like a series kind of where they have similar covers. I don't know what the connection is. I'm just excited to read them. I haven't even heard of them before. It's actually 5 books in this series. So I hope these aren't too hard to read, but it's going to be exciting because I love always picking books in the bookstore that I have never heard of and that just grabs my attention. So these are going to be great. And then we have this book, which is called 13 Reasons Why. I've been watching a lot of Tilly and her books in her channel, and I think she did a favorite young adults, contemporary young adults book, or a Top 10 Cry books or something like that. But anyways, this was further at the top, and We Were Liars were also at the list, so I thought that I'd check it out and buy it. So this one's gonna be a little bit, yeah, different, but I think it's going to be really good. Then I have the second book of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy called The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. I think I'm going to be reading all of these series too, and this copy is absolutely beautiful. Like, the white of it has a kind of glimmer to it, and the side has this blue sand cover to it. It's so nice. This one's by Douglas Adams, if you guys didn't know it. If you hadn't read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, please read it. It's so good. So I'm so excited to read this book. I've been having it in my bookshelf for a little bit too long, so hopefully I'll read it soon. And then here we have the 2 last books in the Raven Boy series. This one's called Blue Lily Lily Blue, and this one is called The Raven King, and they're by Maggie Stiefvater. And I read her Shiver series, and I looked at her website and I saw that she had the Raven Boy series, and I had never heard of them before. I ordered the first book and then I ordered all of the 3 books afterwards because they're so good. I read the first 2 and I absolutely love it. Like, I've never read a series that would be like a better movie series. Like, this series would be so good if they were made into like a series or movies or whatever. I'm really excited to read these books. They're so nice. Like, the covers are just beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful. Oh, it's gonna be so good. So guys, I have a few other books on my list, but they're not new and some of them are Swedish. And you know how it goes. I haven't bought all of them, and sometimes you just have to go into a bookstore and buy a book and then you read it just in the middle of your book schedule. But this is what I have for you guys so far. If there's any books you guys are like, oh, I really want you to do a book review on this, or you know, if one of these books are something you've read, then please comment below. If any one of them is like, you have to read this book right now, then comment that as well. And book recommendations, of course. Please check out my previous book reviews or any other book videos that I have if you're interested. I hope you guys all have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!